Hello and welcome to the Angus Report, a news program geared toward cattle producers. I'm Bob Cervera.
And I'm Paige Wallace. From American Angus Association headquarters in St. Joseph, Missouri, we bring you the week's top headlines, including new legislation that would abolish the estate tax.
We look at USDA's proposed rule on animal traceability.
We discuss cow herd nutrition after calving and ways to ensure a successful start to next year's calf crop.
And new research that links certain DNA to subfertile cows.
This is the Angus Report.
Our top story for the week. Congress is considering a bill that would permanently abolish the federal estate tax. According to the National Cattlemen's Beef Association, the estate tax is an unnecessary tax on small businesses and farm and ranch families throughout the country. Currently, the estate tax rate is at 35% with a $5 million exemption. But next year, the rate is scheduled to increase to 55% with a $1 million exemption. With the November election looming, lawmakers will have to act quickly if the tax is to be removed before the 2013 increases are enacted.
USDA's Animal and Plant Health Inspection Service is moving closer to a national animal ID system. The final rule for the animal disease traceability framework is anticipated later this year. USDA's Neil Hammerschmidt says the proposed rule is intended to streamline the tracing of animals to their point of origin. Under the proposed rule, livestock moved interstate would have to be officially identified by an interstate certificate of veterinary inspection or other documentation. It specifies approved forms of official ID for each species. However, it makes exceptions for alternative forms of identification, such as brands or tattoos. Experts suggest some form of identifier will likely become mandatory with the final rule. Watch future episodes of the Angus Report for national ID updates as they become available, or go online to read the proposed rule.
A successful start to next year's calf crop begins well before breeding season. Here, we learn how meeting a cow's nutritional needs after calving is the first step toward rebreeding.
In order for us to be successful, those cows have to rebreed and stay on a one-year calving interval. In order to do that, we have 82 days from the time that she calves until when she needs to be bred back again. And in that time, that cow needs to recover from the calving process, start cycling again, and at the same time provide enough milk for her calf. So we need to be watching the energy and protein levels of the ration that she's getting, because that milk production can add a significant amount of requirements compared to just maintenance. And as well as we need to be paying attention to things like vitamin A, calcium, phosphorus, micronutrients, and so forth. If we start seeing cattle losing weight and losing body condition, that's kind of an early warning sign for us that some things aren't quite right. We need to make take some steps and make some changes to correct that.
Demand for Angus genetics continues to rise in areas across the country, including the northeastern United States. Mike Shanahan of Shanahan Cattle Promotions in New York says buyers are willing to pay more for quality.
There's more cattle moving, and that to me is a very good thing about the Angus business right now, the Angus purebred business. I spoke with a gentleman the other day who probably sold some cattle off of his farm higher private treaty sales than he ever has before, and those were all registered Angus cattle, that right there just says a great deal. Especially there's people right here in New York, right here in the Northeast, calling for bulls all the time, and right now when they call, it's their budgets are higher than they ever have been. In the worst economic times, you'd think we'd be in a different area with that, but it seems like we've sold bulls to more people, smaller people, at higher prices than we ever have before. They just realize the value. And like I said, in the economic times we're in now, that means a lot.
Visit angus.org for more information regarding Angus sales and events in your area.
Cows that have difficulty reproducing may be linked to mysterious male DNA. That's according to a new study in the Journal of Animal Science. Researchers found that females with decreased reproductive efficiency often contain fragments of the male Y chromosome. They say it's caused by free martins, females that are twins with a male and receive Y chromosomes through blood transfer, or the translocation of a Y chromosome from the female sire. The discovery could result in a new tool for identifying subfertile heifers, which could save an estimated $5 to $10 per female. To read the full research paper, visit the Journal of Animal Science online.
Weekly beef export sales hit a 10-year high in March, according to USDA figures. 52,000 tons of U.S. beef was exported during the week of March 15th, with nearly a quarter of the beef going to drought-stricken Mexico. As domestic and international beef supplies continue to tighten, Paul Clayton of the U.S. Meat Export Federation discusses opportunities for U.S. beef exports.
The ability for us to compete in the world today, because we have grain-fed beef, we have a very differentiated product. And we do compete, if you want to call those competitors, it's a different product with the grass-fed or those countries that do supply those markets with grass-fed. I think a lot of times people think the low-value dollar is a disadvantage to us, but in the foreign market it actually is a positive for us. For us, we're actually bringing that foreign dollar back into our country through the transaction of selling meat. And that means we're bringing more dollars theoretically into our economy. Again, I always consider the international market as a value-added market, because we're putting unique products there and getting more value and hopefully put more value back to the producers.
When the Angus Report returns, we discuss drought conditions in the Southern Plains and what that means for heifer retention.
Plus, age and source verification, how to add value to your Angus sired calves.
Visit Angus.org to continue watching this episode of the Angus Report.
This segment of the Angus Report is sponsored by the North Dakota Angus Association. Attend the North Dakota Angus Association Bull Test Sale April 23rd in Dickinson, North Dakota, with 72 performance-tested yearling Angus bulls offered at sale. Call or email dccattle@hotmail.com for a sale book or more information.